to answer the questions on our own. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started by sharing my screen. Okay, can everyone see that? Okay, there we go. All right, so welcome to the Employee Campaign Champion Training. This is coordinating your electronic campaign. And of course, the movement is you is our theme. Today, myself, Gerald Rocha, and Lois Hahn will be conducting this training. And I don't think it's going to take an hour, so there should be plenty of time for any questions. Don't hesitate to ask. We want you to be as familiar with this platform as possible. And I know that if you wait till the end, you may forget. So don't hesitate. If you want to jump right in, I'll pause and allow you to ask your question, and we will, go ahead and, guide you in the right direction along the way. So I just wanted to start off with an overview of what this training is about. What is ePledge? I'll be addressing that. I will be talking about the why ePledge, how to get started, your role as an ePledge administrator, and then I'll be calling on Lois Hahn to give us a demonstration of the ePledge platform and talk about campaign reporting. And then at the end, there'll be another opportunity to ask questions and get answers. So let us begin. Does anybody have any questions up until this point? Done? Yes.
I thought you were presenting something.
I do at 12:30.
Oh, okay.
We got that one. Okay, I'll begin. So what is ePledge? Well, ePledge is an opportunity to get rid of your pledge forms and keep your campaign. It's an online campaign management tool that fits seamlessly into your existing United Way campaign. It's more efficient, secure, and an engaging way for your employees to give to the cause or the causes that they care about. The one thing, especially during this times of COVID, that we tried to pivot last year is to try to, make paperless campaigns, and ePledge is the platform that enables us to do that. This year, we're encouraging paperless campaigns. However, we do realize that, some of your employees may not have technology and may still require having paper pledge forms, and that's okay. We're getting brand new paper pledge forms done, and you should be able to contact us and we'll be able to bring some by. But for the most part, to make things easier for your campaigns and less grueling, ePledge is a simple alternative to the paper pledge form. So let's talk about the why. Well, for one thing, you could spend time fundraising and not pushing paper. And for those that have, utilized the paper pledge forms, you kind of know what I'm talking about. ePledge is an easy way, a secure way to streamline the transfer of information between United Way, and in this case, United Way of Delaware, and your payroll department. So it's seamless because all the reporting is right in the system. So when the campaign closes out, you can simply download, or your payroll department can download the spreadsheet and be able to begin payroll deductions in real time almost. No more do you have to go through every paper pledge form and separate your paper pledge form by cash and checks and credit card, because all that is inputted into the system. Although it minimizes, because I won't say all the way, you get rid of the pledge form, because in certain cases you may need the pledge form, but it minimizes the amount of pledge forms that you would have to collect, and minimizes the amount of cash. And another thing, online profiles for each employee allow for a confidential pledge that only the donor can see. Now, as an administrator, you may be able to see what the donations are and where the donations are sent, but being that you're the administrator, you have that confidentiality to keep that information within you. But at the same time, the employee can be confident that that their pledge is confidential. We're not really sharing that information at all. Going paperless, as I said before, no more paper pledge forms, no more cash or checks to track and submit. Okay, so now, how do you get started? Well, our staff will work with you to ensure that your company's ePledge site will be ready to launch 1 week prior to your campaign starting. 6 weeks before you start your campaign, you complete and submit a spreadsheet with the following employee information. And at the minimum, we're going to need your employee's email address. We have on here the unique employee ID number, not the social, first name, middle initial, last name, or as much information as you can to identify the employee, the number of pay periods per year, and the work zip code. When it comes to the unique employee ID number, you don't necessarily have to give out that number, but it makes it easier in the long term. We don't know what those unique ID numbers are, or what they represent within your organization. We only know that it's a unique identifier in case you have two employees with the same name. That's why we ask for that. And your payroll is probably going to want to know that as well, so that each employee with the same name doesn't get mixed up when it comes to their designation. Now, 4 weeks before we start the campaign, we're asking for you to submit logos, images, and text that you would like to customize for your ePledge site. And your relationship managers and Lois, and we will work with you in reference to that. This thing's kind of slow. Bear with me, please. Okay, there we go. How do you get started? Part 2. 2 weeks before the start of your campaign, assign at least one person, which it could be yourself, or one person on your staff, to complete ePledge administrator training. So you're already getting this training really right now, but as we customize your website and your platform, we will come back with you within those 2 weeks. I'm not going to say it's exactly 2 weeks out, but we should meet with you right before your campaign kicks off, just to cruise through and make sure that the website or platform is correct and to your liking, the logo is correct, and those such things. And then any questions you have, maybe take a deeper dive in the reporting aspect of your role, those type of things. So, within those 2 weeks, one of us as relationship managers may be contacting you to schedule something like that before you kick off. And sometimes this training can take up to an hour, so just be prepared to block off an hour for the training. And it's virtual, so we do it in a similar way we're doing this also. So it is a web conference to be able to do that. So your role as an administrator, as the administrator of your organization, you have the ability to manage aspects of your campaign directly through the system. The ePledge system provides the following capabilities for you to manage for your campaign. You can add or correct email addresses, correct the spelling of names or addresses, update additional employee information, which you may have chosen to provide. You can send emails to individuals, emails to groups of employees, enter pledges, and change pledges or delete pledges for employees in their absence or whatsoever. you can remove employees who have been terminated or are on a leave of absence and they're not around during the campaign. You can run campaign result reports and track and document the status of cash and check donations for your closeout of your campaign. Let's see, I have one question here. Is the ability to perform these functions new? No, they are not new. If you are, savvy with or have done campaigns before, I don't think anything in here is new. If you're getting familiar, or you may have, when Lois goes through, the platform, you may see something that you may not have known about. I know I go through a number of these with Lois, and every time I learn something new. Okay, it says in the past, we have had to email your IT person to make these changes. So that's a way of circumventing the system, but that's why we're having these trainings, so that you would have the ability to do it yourself. But a lot of times you don't have time, or because of unfamiliarity, you can contact us and we can make that happen, or Lois can make that happen for you. Outside of ePledge, we are able to collect personal check donations. That answer is yes. You can collect a personal check. However, a pledge form must be filled out to go along with that check, and then you can contact your relationship manager to come and pick that pledge form up with that check in order to be processed with the ePledge campaign. So you can do both synonymously at the same time. You're very welcome. Let's see. I think we're close. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Lois Hunt, and she's going to begin to talk about the ePledge contribution process. She's going to navigate you through the system, look at personal email links, talk about pledge and payment methods, designations, and employee participation. So Lois, it's on you. Can you hear me? I'm going to stop my sharing so that you can share.
Okay.
Okay, it's all yours. Thank you.
All right. Do you see a picture of some kids?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that's the first thing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Couple things I wanted to clear up. We will be using 2 administrators this year, Sally Hartloud, whom some of you already know, and me. Sally will be handling accounts that have out-of-area work sites. By out-of-area, we mean not in Delaware. Okay, I will be handling campaigns that only have work sites in Delaware. Okay, there shouldn't be any difference between the two of us supporting you. So you could reach out to either one of us. And I want to point out that at the bottom of every page, there is this line for assistance. Please call our e-business helpline. Okay, and there's the number. It's on every page of ePledge. Okay, and I monitor those, and Sally monitors those. So we both have access to that, and we'll pick up your emails as soon as we can. Okay, so if you're doing a traditional campaign, we will send you, each of your employees, on a specified day, an email that has a link. So they don't need a username and password. They'll just click on the link, and it will take them to their personal account history. Okay, and that will show on this page right here. They will see these little children. They will see your campaign name instead of the XYZ company. They'll see your company name. Okay. If you have administrator rights, you will also see reports, resources, and this button down here. Okay. If you don't, you won't see those. Everybody with me so far? Okay. The first thing you're going to do is select a pledge type. The most common, of course, is payroll deduction. There's also credit card. Bill me, and sorry, I don't wish to give at this time. You could encourage people to click on this one if they're not going to give, which makes it possible when you send out reminders, they don't get another reminder. Okay, if they opt out, they won't see any reminders. So let's start with payroll deduction. You can either put in here how much per pay. So for instance, if you wanted $5 per pay and you had 26 pay periods, it would calculate that your total donation is $130. Or if you knew you wanted to give, which I can't, there we go, $150, very slow today, sorry. It will calculate how much per pay period for you, okay? This pay periods per year can be customized to your company. We have several different ones. Okay, these are the most common. You tell us ahead of the campaign which one of these you're going to use. Many companies also use a one-time pledge. We would add one to these options, and they would just give the entire gift from their first paycheck. Okay, the second part is designations. This little table here keeps track of everything that you've done as far as designations. It is not editable, okay? It's just telling you this is your pledge, here's how much you've designated so far, here's how much remains undesignated as you're going through the designation process. The first choice is I want to support United Way's Community Impact Fund, and you would put the designated amount in here. Okay, you can put any combination of dollars. So we'll put $25 in there. Then we have our strategic focus areas: early education success, college and career readiness, and financial empowerment. Okay, you can put any amount in there as well. Now, if you look at your table, you can see we've designated $50. We have $100 left to designate. Okay. Then our initiatives come next, and you can tell our initiatives because they have this little symbol next to them. Okay. And I don't think I have to go over those. I think you're all probably really familiar with these. And of course, you'll get a chance to look at those when you get access to the site. And then we come to the search screen. Now, this is important. Say I put in here, cancer care. It says no agencies match my criteria and gives me a write-in option. However, UNO is one of our partners. This line right down here is very important. Search for partner agencies only, right? These are the ones that we support through Community Impact Fund dollars. Uncheck that box and you will get a result with anything that has cancer care in the title. So we have 3, okay? You pick the one you wanted and click the plus button. And that would put it up here under your agencies. You can put any amount that you have that you want into that. And then you can do another search. okay, and add it. And put as much as you want in there, okay? If you look at your little table, it says you're totally designated out.
So let me ask you this, Lois.
Mhm.
Suppose you had $100 and you put 50 in cancer care, and then you put 100 in the line for Christiana Care. Does it update up top?
Right here, can you see this?
Yes.
You have designated more than your pledge amount, adjust your designations, or increase your pledge,
Thank you.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it changes it to 50,
So it sends you right back to the top.
but just changed it to 50 for you because that's all you had remaining, okay?
Yes,
And then,
thank
of
you.
course, there's a write-in. If you really can't find it, you can use the write-in. And it asks you how much and the name of the agency and the address. The reason it asks for all this information is if we don't have it in our systems, we have to vet it to make sure it's eligible. It has to be a 501c3 agency for us to be able to give your donation, to pass it through to them, okay? And then you would hit add, okay? Then it asks you to check your information, okay? So it's gonna look at your email, ask if you want to get a confirmation via email, whether you want to release your name to the agencies to which you designated, acknowledged by them, release your email to them, and your home address to the agencies you designated to. Okay, so you can just check those. A note, they are already preset to be checked, so you have to uncheck if you don't want those. Then answer the following questions, definitely optional, you don't have to do this, but we ask these because it helps us figure out what our donor base is by gender, by age, and so forth. And ethnic origin as well, but again, you don't have to answer. Okay, then you would hit confirm and it will send you an email. Now, if you chose credit card, when you hit confirm, it will take you to our credit card processor, which is not on our ePledge site. And it will take your credit card information at that point. Okay? Bill is a little different. You don't have to know how many pay periods. You can tell the system whether you want to be billed monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Okay, does anybody have any questions about that so far? Before I get off the screen. Okay, we good? Okay, like I said, we do have.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Okay.
Are we able to, this is a conversation we'll have to have internally first, but are we able to customize that bottom part of the screen if we don't want our employees asked those questions?
You don't even want them to be asked down here?
Right. If we don't want those to be available, even to be asked of our employees,
I think so.
are we
yeah.
able to easily customize that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to ask that internally, but I wanted to
Sure.
ask if it was even possible first. Thank you.
Lois, there's one more question in the chat, if I may.
Sure.
It says for credit card, this is from Erin Watts, for credit card donations, when will the funds be charged?
Immediately.
Immediately.
Mhm.
Okay. Erin, does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you. You may proceed,
Okay.
Lois.
All right, back to the top. This button, pledge, is actually for you to make your pledge or change your pledge. Same with account history. This will give your account history. I don't think I have the account history with XYZ Corporation. Okay, and then we have reports. Campaign level summary report will give you a summary of your total to date. Oh, there's account history, it showed up. Okay, and there's my account history, etc. So that will have your personal account history on it. Sorry, it's really being slow. There we go. Alrighty. If you have subsidiaries, meaning, for instance, school districts, there's a top level school district account, and then each of your schools is considered a subsidiary of that parent account. So some of you will have those and others will not, but you would want to include them, is my guess, and you check this box. You could also group the results by subsidiary so you know which location has raised how much. It's always current year, that's the default for the campaign, and the campaign account is always all. Now, these here, date range, is defaulted to the prior year campaign. So you want to make sure you change that to the current year campaign. Okay, it's 1 year prior. You would just change both of these dates to run your report. Okay, the amounts is everything to everything, basically, but you can change it if you want to see, I don't know, your higher level donors or something like that. This button here, include employees with expired or no relationship. If you've added an employee and forgotten, or we have forgotten to make him an employee of your account, you'll still get the results here. Include batch transactions isn't really applicable to you, so you don't have to worry about that. And get the number of employees from the population at employee info. That is on our website, our database. If you check that, it will give you the number of employees. It's nice to check that because if we don't have the right number of employees, you can correct us. You need the right number of employees in order to get your percent of participation correctly. Transaction source is set to both. This means both paper and ePledge. Or you can make it strictly one or the other. Email reports to, and you put your own email address in here. And you can have it in either Acrobat, spreadsheet, or both. And you can describe what you've done so that your report will have a description on it as well. If you don't like the columns that you're seeing after you run the report once, you could go in here and change the columns that you're seeing. There's a lot of columns, so just forewarned. And then you would submit and the report would go to your email address. Okay, the response report is a little bit different. This is going to show you who's responded and who has not. Now, we can send reminders for you based on who's responded and who has not. But this is just for you to see it. Okay, again, include subsidiaries, current year, put in your dates, put in your amounts, expired employees. Okay. I'm sorry for the noise. There's people working right outside my office fixing the air conditioning. All right. Show employee ID, show donor email, etc. You can see the gift amounts, but you can also not check this box if the report is for someone you don't want to have the gift amount dollars. Okay. You can include the non-respondents in this or employees with a response. Again, this is both paper and ePledge. Now, it will only work for paper if we here at United Way have had a chance to actually process the paper pledges. And again, you have who to email a report to and what kind of report it will be, Acrobat or PDF or Excel. And then this donor choice report, which I'm not going to show you, but basically if you want to find out what your employees are designated to, you could click on this and it will give you a report showing employee designations. Okay. And then you have these resources. I'm sorry, my screen isn't big enough to see the whole thing, but we'll look at it. So it's a transactions list for XYZ company for this year. And we're going to search for somebody who works there. Sorry, John, I made you an employee of XYZ company. Okay, here's John. Okay, says he has a pledge or a payment. I put the NR in here, so nothing would show up. Anyway, here you have a $sign, meaning you can add a pledge for this person right here. You could email this person from here. You could update the person's pledge, say they made a mistake and they put down that they wanted too much. You know, they got their confirmation email and said they gave $6,000 and they really only wanted 600. Or you can actually delete their pledge from here. Okay. And you can add a person if they don't show up. You know, you search for them and they don't show up, you can add them. Okay, so that's the reports. Do we have any questions? No questions. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, and Lois, I have been answering questions in the chat.
Okay.
When it comes to reporting, and as far, and I pretty much answered it, but you can you know, maybe go in more depth of it. But the question is, has the campaign has the reporting including specific admin which can or cannot see change from last year? And my answer, of course, was no. For example, we do not want some admins to be able to see individual donations. So could you just speak to how that could be customized for certain accounts?
Right. We have several levels of web user. So we have account administrator and then account manager. The administrator can see the amounts and the manager cannot. So you would have to let us know which level you want your team to have access for.
Okay, and does anybody have any other questions? This is the time to you know. Oh, here's one that came into the chat, Lois. For companies that don't feel comfortable about giving employee demographics, is there an alternate way to have employees donate? If so, is the setup process much different?
Okay, so you're talking about a registration campaign, which we initiated last year for the first time. Everything that you saw is the same when you are looking at ePledge. The difference is, instead of you sending us your employee data file and us sending an email back to your employees, we just send you a link to this site. You send the link to your employees and your employees log in on their own. Now the login screen, I don't know if I can get it back.
Yep, we see it.
The login screen has just username and password. No, it's not going to do it. So when you do this. Okay, they will see this screen. You see where it says the different screens, says user ID and password. Everybody see that? Hey, Gerald, do you see that?
Oh, yes, yes, I see it.
Okay, thank you. So once you've sent the link to your employees and they click on the link, this is what they'll see. Okay, they put their username in here and we can supply a username for everyone to use, and then the password. And click and log in. Now, if their username and password is in the system, it will connect them to their account. If not, it will come back and ask them for more information. And then it will think about that, go back to the database and look at the data we have in there, and then send back the link to them. So we don't have to have your employee data file, okay? All you have to do is send the link to your employees. Questions?
Yes. Now, so Aaron, yeah, that's what I think we did last year with was the registration. But I think she might be looking more in depth now for ePledge to see what the possibilities are. So they may continue with the, if I'm speaking for you correctly, Aaron, maybe continuing with the registration type, or maybe we'll, go into an ePledge. And it's okay either way, the results are the same. The one thing that I will say though about the difference between the registration and the, from learning from last year's campaign, is Lois can preset, and I don't know, Lois, you can answer this. Can you preset reminders for the registration campaign? Because I know you can set that up for the normal ePledge. So that kind of takes the onus of digging back into your email, if you will, to find the link to send out to employees periodically to remind them to click the link to donate, right? Or in our traditional ePledge campaign, Lois can preset, like if you have a 2-week campaign, she can kick it off and then set up a reminder like 7 days after the kickoff. And then the day before the campaign closes, send another reminder, and she can preset all that prior to. Which makes it easier because folks that get the link that they self-register gets lost in emails, and we don't go back and dig it back out to find it. And then you would have to dig it back out to find it and remember to send the reminders if you notice that, some folks haven't donated yet. So that the one thing good about having a traditional ePledge campaign is you don't have to worry about that. We can preset everything up ahead of time.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Carol, can I jump in real quick?
I hear Debbie. Yes, go ahead, Deb.
First of all, I want to thank you and Lois for really giving a great overview of the ePledge tool. Just looking at some of our audience today, and I just want to, indicate we have some small companies that may only have 50 people, and then we have some large campaigns that, have upwards of 10,000 people. And one shoe doesn't always fit everyone.
Correct.
So, the team and Lois and our consultant for some of our regional campaigns, Sally, are here to support the needs of each of our partners. So, this is sort of a great overview, but if there's anything specific that they're looking for, then please don't hesitate and ask.
Thank you, Debbie. And yes, that's correct. We can try to tailor any concerns or specifics that you want when you work with your relationship manager. So you can contact us, and we'll try to make it happen as much as the platform will allow. And Lois, there is one more question. If they donated last year via ePledge, will they be linked to their account from last year?
Yes.
And the answer to that is yes. As soon as, of course, the logins, the emails would have to be moved forward to the next year's campaign, right, Lois?
I'm not
Like
sure.
we'll still need the data sheet with the ePledge, like for the employees,
Right.
that would be refreshed for,
Yeah,
right? But as soon as,
For
go
a
ahead.
registration campaign, once the system recognizes your email address, it will link you to last year's history.
Right.
Mhm.
For either one, the the traditional or the self-registration, that
Yeah.
applies to all.
Yes.
Mhm. Thank you, Michelle, for your question. How about anybody else? Do we have any further questions? This training is being recorded, and we will have this available. I believe it's going on our website for you to review later in case you have any further questions that you may not have thought about during this session. But I will pause and give you an opportunity to ask. Okay, so with that said, we do have a few minutes left. I would like to offer up my colleagues, Debbie, Tim, or John. If you would like to share anything at this point in time, please, jump right in. And, if you want to greet the group that is attending today, you may do so.
Well, I'd just like to say very quickly, thank you so much for attending today's training. We had a good turnout last week and very encouraged by the turnout this week. Shows that you're really a true partner with the United Way, and we know that collectively it takes all of us to be able to transform our community. So we wish you all the very best. You got some great subject matter experts with the ePledge system that's been working with you today, and anything that we can do in regards to your campaigns, please let us know. We'll be there for you.
Thank you, John. Tim, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, no, as John, I appreciate everybody that I requested to come on, showed up, and I hope any questions at all during the course of the year, you have this as a feedback to look back on. And I just appreciate everybody going on there. So it makes life so much easier when we do run these campaigns.
There's one more question in here before I turn it over to Debbie for comments. These meeting invitations are helpful. Can we please keep getting them for each session? And that we're going to be doing that. We'll try to get them out earlier. Maybe by tomorrow we can get those out to you because that way, we ensure that you have the link to be able to attend these sessions. So thank you for that question. I think the last one went out on Tuesday, but we'll try to make it a lot sooner. Debbie, the floor is yours if you had any additional comments.
So I sort of want to echo John and Tim and Gerald, yourself at Philanthropy and Engagement at United Way of Delaware. We thank each and every one of you for your hard work supporting the workplace campaign. So now really the movement begins with you. And as we didn't have an opportunity to go round robin on today's call, if each of you could drop the name of your organization that you're representing in the chat box so everyone can see each other and who's supporting our friends and neighbors here in Delaware and in Salem County, New Jersey.
Yes, and Debbie, that's a good point. Being that we have different sizes of organizations that are here with us, and as well, there's new folks here that are new to ePledge and folks that have been around ePledge a long time. I wanted to give an opportunity for those that have used ePledge for a number of years to talk a little bit about your experiences with it. Is there anyone here that could, offer up any advice to the new members that are on who may not have the level of experience that you have with the system? There are concerns when we engage new companies to do an ePledge campaign. Sometimes the confidence is not there about the security of it and those types of things. So I would like for someone who may have used this system to kind of talk about that and just, share your experiences, if you will. I see a hand up. I see Tanya. Yes, go ahead. You're recognized.
Hi, good morning. I'm Tanya Atkins with Newcastle County Government, and I haven't used the system for years, but we did use it last year. And during COVID, we ran our campaign using the ePledge, and it was helpful. The employees were receptive to going online, making their elections. It also allowed us from the administration side to confirm the pledge amounts or make changes if necessary. So we were able to do that. As far as the security, I know there was a question if the company wasn't comfortable with providing all of the information that is used to set up the ePledge. We did that also, and we have a great number of employees, and it was very secure. Our IT department worked with, I believe, Lois to make sure she can get our campaign sheet that listed all the information that you asked there. And it was pretty seamless, and it helped us on the administrative side so that we're not keying in employee information and that type of thing. So I've had a great experience with ePledge and working with United Way. Looking forward to this year's campaign. These trainings are very helpful. I came in kind of late last year, so I'm not sure if this is something that you all have done in the past, but I can say that it's very helpful to be able to look forward and to really map out our plan for our campaign to have the most impact. So thank you.
And you're very welcome. And thank you, Tanya, for sharing. We really appreciate it. This is actually the first time we've done it in this format. Thanks to Debbie Armstrong, who came up with the idea and in our brainstorming session, and we feel that it is valuable. And we wanted something that we could offer, by recording this to be able to, put it on our website so that everyone can see. Is Craig still here? Craig, it seems that you have a number of years of experience as well. And if you don't mind, would you go ahead and share with the group from your perspective what your experiences are with our ePledge system?
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Craig Gross. I'm an associate at WL Gore & Associates, and we are longtime supporters, and we've been doing campaigns with United Way and with Debbie for years, even pre-ePledge. We found the United Way and their customer team and their IT team to be very easy to work with, very receptive. The ePledge system is very customizable. That's why I asked a couple of questions as to whether something changed. We're another company that does not permit, we're not permitted to provide the demographics without, like, we would have to get, I would literally have to get every single associate in our company to say it's okay. So we go with the idea of sending out a link and they log in that way. That way it's by choice that they're providing their email address and their personal information. The reporting is well done. Again, because of the way we're set up, we have 15, 16 plants just on the East Coast. Plus we have plants across the country that all use United Way of Delaware as our central processor. We like the individual plant champions to be able to see what their totals are for that plant, but not individuals. And that's easily customizable and done for reporting purposes. So the ePledge system is a good one. We've worked very closely. I've worked very closely with Sally for several years, quite a few years now, and we always look forward to partnering with them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to share any of their experiences? Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, so it looks like I'll be giving you a little bit of time back. I really genuinely appreciate everyone staying on and as long as you can. I know some are jumping off for another meeting. That's how our new lifestyles are with Zoom and other platforms in this virtual world. But and there was one comment about how these trainings are very valuable. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as a team from the philanthropy standpoint to see how we can continue to do lunch and learns. Of course, we're going to be in campaign mode for the next 3 or 4 weeks, but we could probably periodically, keep you up to speed on what is new with United Way throughout the course of the year, and get more involved in as far as engagement and just talk about best practices along the way, so that everyone can understand and come up with ideas that, as we share, could definitely impact, the value of United Way and what United Way can do for our community here in the state of Delaware. So, thank you so much for attending. Just thank you so much for your input and sharing. And we welcome you back next Thursday around this time when, Debbie, could you just help me with what's next as far as next week's training?
Hi, Gerald. Yes, next week I am up. I will be facilitating a conversation around keeping the fun and fundraising, and it will be geared around a cash option activity in your not to pass cash through. I will also have a guest speaker with me from that'll share some best practices that he's learned. And for those of you that are joining us next week, please come and share with us. We want to have an interactive and engaging conversation along what may have worked for you, so you could share some ideas for your peers that are doing the same thing at their employer.
Thank you, Debbie. And one last thing that's in the chat, Tanya is asking that for employees who can't contribute financially, are there volunteer opportunities that may be mentioned in the upcoming meeting? I think we even have a meeting that's even dedicated to volunteerism. So your answer is yes. But if you're going to be on next week, put something like this in the chat and we'll talk a little bit more about it then. But then we will have a dedicated You Volunteer presentation as well. Okay. And so we are pretty close to the top of the hour. And I want to just thank you all. This concludes our training, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much.